Coming up on Seminole Sports Magazine, the Florida State University football team is expected to contend for the national championship this year, but will need their stars to step up. EJ Manuel has been working hard in the offseason and might have finally found the missing piece to the puzzle. EJ will be throwing to some of the best wide receivers in the country. What has wide receiver corps been doing in the offseason to become a more cohesive unit? The FSU defensive line is one of the best, if not the best, in the country, and Anthony McLoud is one of the anchors in the middle. We'll take a look at Anthony's journey from a junior college in Mississippi to a star leader on one of the top teams in the country. We'll also take a look back at Seminole legend Danny Kanell. These stories and more on Seminole Sports Magazine, presented by AT&T. Hello everyone, I'm Rob Wilson. On this week's show, we take an in-depth look at Florida State football, starting with EJ Manuel. As a quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles, EJ plays a central role in the team's failures and victories. After a disappointing 9-4 season, EJ realized that something was missing. He's been working hard in the offseason and might have found that missing piece to finally claim an elusive national championship.
A true leader understands the bigger picture. There's more than just the here and now, and a true leader sees right through the current situation to the larger goal on the horizon. It's one of those qualities that is the difference between good and great. For EJ Manuel, it's about a greater purpose that is achieved by visualizing Florida State's past, present, and future.
We want to have a legacy. We felt like guys like Derrick Brooks, Charlie Ward, Deion Sanders have been here before us, and that's kind of who I grew up watching. And even if I didn't watch it, I heard about them, from my dad. So that's kind of something I want to do as far as, just with the whole senior class. We want to finish strong, because we all came here saying that we want to win the national championship, win the ACC championship, things like that. So this is our last year to get it done.
So as Manuel entered the offseason after winning his third straight bowl game, he needed a vision of where he wanted his team to go. As the team's captain, his voice had to be heard as much off the field as in the huddle. There was a bigger step he needed to take, and his teammates could see the difference.
EJ, you can see that he's growing up a lot. Like he's really mature. He gets everybody going. Like, I think that's important too with a quarterback, like just to get the players going, especially us young guys when we're looking up to him like that. It gets us going too. But EJ, he got that look in his eye this year.
I'm extremely excited about the guys I'm working with, and I'm extremely excited about the work I've put in personally. But my guys are working extremely hard, not just the offensive guys as far as the skill guys, but the O-line too. They're doing a great job getting stronger, getting smarter, and things like that. So we have a lot of firepower coming back this year.
I think we have more of a togetherness this year. Sometimes last year we'd have moments where the team would kind of fall apart, and no one would stand up and take a leadership role. And this year we have plenty of people who are willing to stand up and tell somebody, hey, you need to be doing something, you need to be doing this better. And that's what's going to propel us to the top.
And while Manuel certainly knew how to lead by example in the classroom, weight room, and in practice, he knew there was one piece missing.
I think that's the biggest thing as far as building a bond. You actually have to hang out with people. You can't just see them here in the stadium, at dinner, workouts, things like that. You actually have to go above and beyond. And it's not anything hard, because we're all cool guys, so we get along and do a good job of it.
Just to build that bond, to know that we have each other backs, like far as off the field and on the field. Like, I feel like that makes it better for us to play better. Like when we have that type of relationship off the field.
He's a great man on and off the field. Character means a lot I feel like when you play quarterback, because you can affect the other players around you. And not only do we affect the players on offense, we affect the players on defense. But we're down and out. EJ comes over. We need to pick it up and step it up and all that. And I think that plays a good role.
The performance on the field stands on its own. The touchdowns, rushing yards, completion percentage, those are easy things to see. But Manuel knows that success begins and ends as a team, regardless of his stat line. In his eyes, it starts at the beginning, the foundation of being a team, and the motto that sustains throughout every season.
Attitude pretty much revolves for everything. It speaks for everything I meant. If you have a great attitude as far as your work ethic, the things you do off the field and on the field, everything will be taken care of.
Leadership is vision. Vision to see the goal from the very beginning and turn it into reality. EJ Manuel's goal is a legacy, something greater than himself that will echo throughout Florida State history. I'm Scott Kotick for Seminole Sports Magazine.
EJ Manuel certainly has all the tools to be a great quarterback this year. Combining his amazing athletic ability along with his leadership skills and attitude, the national championship is within his grasp. When we come back, we'll take a look at one of the best wide receiving corps in the country as we go in depth with the FSU wide receivers. And Anthony McLoud is proud to be a Seminole, but it was a difficult journey. How's the star defensive lineman affecting the FSU team? You're watching Seminole Sports Magazine, presented by AT&T.
Seminole Sports Magazine is presented by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Coke Zero, football-related chest bumps, high fives, and trash talk brought to you by Coke Zero. Enjoy everything.
Welcome back to Seminole Sports Magazine, presented by AT&T. Let's take a quick look at upcoming FSU athletic events. You can catch the women's soccer team playing at home against Charleston on September 2nd and Cal State Fullerton on the 7th. The women's volleyball team is playing against the Slovenian junior national team in Tallahassee on September 4th, and then makes a trip to Miami to play the Hurricanes on September 7th. The cross-country team is heading to Auburn, Alabama for the Auburn Invitational, and then we have the second game of the FSU football season as the Seminoles take on the Savannah State Tigers. The Seminole wide receiving corps has the talent and depth to be one of the best in the country. Each receiver brings something different to the table in terms of ability, speed, and toughness. This diverse group has come together in the offseason to form a strong bond, a brotherhood, and should help propel this group to elite status.
It's easy to view a team's chemistry through the lens of success. It's only natural to be satisfied with wins and be frustrated with losses. Yet a team is much more than the scoreboard. It's a family that lives, eats, and breathes as one. And for the Florida State wide receivers, their ability on the field stems from their friendship and bond as one unit.
I say, we like brothers pretty much, and our wide receivers said, and that pretty much explains that all. We get along real good.
The way everyone really interact with each other when we get around each other is just like it's all smiles. There's no confrontation or tension between any of the players, and right now we just have to keep building that bond as brothers.
We like the bowls sometimes. And then we just, honestly, we can, after practice, what we do so much, we just sit, everybody gone, we just sit and just joke around like a group of brothers.
And that was the difference in the offseason. While they certainly had all the talent and depth to be one of the best units in the nation, the receivers knew there was more. From bowling to go-karting, segment dinners, and movies, the wide receivers used the spring and summer to become closer off the football field.
Just to have something that you could do off the field, I feel like it's very important. Just to get your mind off it and just really get back to the realities of life. I feel like and just get back to other things.
Doing more stuff with each other, like maybe going swimming, going to different places just to build that bond, to know that we have each other backs, like far as off the field and on the field. I feel like that makes it better for us to play better, like when we have that type of relationship off the field.
And it's translated to the field. From freshmen to seniors, each receiver knows the importance of being part of a bigger picture. Those off-season bonding times have helped to develop not only depth in the entire unit, but versatility for each receiver.
Each and every last one of us could play every position there is to play on that field as far as a receiver. And that's exciting. So I feel like no one can try to double coverage a specific receiver with all us knowing or having the ability to know the offense in every position. And that's just exciting when you have numerous of guys that can go vertical, that can run a slant route, go across the middle, just players that's all in.
We know what each other can do. It's funny because we actually the young guys get on the older guys now. It's funny, but we compete all day.
And when the receivers want to know the ins and outs of the position and what it takes to be a great teammate, they have the best example in receivers coach Lawrence Dawsey, who has been through it all as a player and coach.
I love Coach Dawsey, man. He's a pretty down-to-earth guy and easy to talk to. And I think that, but for him being my position coach, I think that's a must-have because you can learn a lot from somebody that you know, that has played the position and knows everything about it.
Size, speed, and talent, the Seminole wide receivers have got it all this year. But to the players, that's not even the most important attribute. It's about family, and it's about knowing the potential this group has as one unit.
Our actions will show how hungry we are this season, and I feel like I can speak for everyone on the team, coaches, players, everyone.
Just to let everybody know that we're the best wide receiver corps in the nation, hands down.
I'm Scott Kotick for Seminole Sports Magazine.
This group's newly strengthened bond has only amplified each of their abilities and will be the driving force behind their success this season. When we return to Seminole Sports Magazine presented by AT&T, we jump to the defensive side of the ball and take a journey with one of the stars on that amazing defensive line. Also, we'll take a look back at Seminole football legend, Danny Kanell. Welcome back to Seminole Sports Magazine presented by AT&T. EJ Manuel, the wide receiving corps, and the rest of the FSU offense seem to have had a productive offseason. But what about the defense? The defense is projected to be one of the best in the country, and one star on the defense is very happy to be a part of it all. Defensive tackle Anthony McLoud started his college football career at Itawamba Community College in Mississippi. After 2 years of hard work, Anthony finally arrived at FSU in 2010. Here's Scott Kotick as we go inside Anthony McLoud's journey from a junior college player to a star defensive lineman at Florida State.
Certain athletes have the world at their fingertips. Scholarship offers, every Division I football program knocking at their door, multiple star rankings, they've got it all. Ant McLoud didn't have those luxuries coming out of high school. Growing up in nearby Thomasville, Georgia, McLoud spent 2 years at a Mississippi junior college to improve his grades and to become a more complete football player, all to maybe one day suit up in the garnet and gold. All of that hard work paid off when Ant finally got to Tallahassee. It's that experience that gave him perspective and made him love Florida State that much more.
You know what I mean, that junior college experience made me very appreciative of Florida State, what they offer, and everything about Florida State made me like it even more. Because I didn't have to be here. I could have been studying junior college. You know what I mean? Didn't have to get accepted here, and it made me hungry for for what Florida State offered me. I enjoy it, and I don't take it for granted.
But it wasn't easy. 2 years of not knowing whether he'd ever make it, yet tirelessly putting in the work in the classroom and on the field just to get a shot. And it paid off in the end. He got that call he'd been dreaming about for years.
It almost felt like a dream. You always see Florida State on TV as a child growing up. You never think it's gonna be you. What's the odds of this lonely soul, me, coming out of Florida State entrance, dressed in all garnet and gold, with that spirit in the air, man, it's unbelievable.
And now he's a leader and a starter on one of the best defenses in the nation. But McLoud is more to the team than just your average football player. He fulfills a role that gets his teammates just a little bit amped up.
There's times like 2 days, where everybody's down. It's that one funny guy that gets everybody laughing and back to, just having fun with football, and that's Anthony McLoud.
He's a grandpa of the defensive line. He always talks some stuff. And it just gives us a good mood, you know what I'm saying? If we go down out there and say, oh, another day, he just talks some stuff and we laugh and then, hey, you know what I'm saying? It just puts us in a little bit better mood.
But while he's the player that can be heard all across the practice fields, he knows the voice that echoes above all else, not in volume, but in life. Odell Hagens has always been there for him and was more than just a coach.
Because he's a great role model. He teaches us how to become men. Some days we might not even talk about football. We just talk about life lessons, how to be a great man, a great father, and just be able to be successful outside of football. Because football ain't gonna last forever. But he just teaches us how to be a great man outside when football all over.
While the journey had been long and the road had sometimes been unseen for McLoud, he got to the place he always wanted to be. But it's not over. There's more to do at Florida State. It's a new season, and McLoud intends to make the most of every moment.
So it's nerve-wracking. Just talking about it got me shivering almost, because just experience is priceless.
I'm Scott Kotick for Seminole Sports Magazine.
Anthony McLoud is doing what so few people get to do, living their dream. Not only is Anthony living his dream, but also he's doing things that he never thought possible by becoming a star on the Seminole football team in more ways than one. Next, we go back 18 years in Seminole football history and revisit one of the biggest games in Seminole history and the player who made it all happen, Danny Kanell. You're watching Seminole Sports Magazine presented by AT&T.
Seminole Sports Magazine is presented by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Coke Zero, football-related chest bumps, high fives, and trash talk brought to you by Coke Zero. Enjoy everything.
As we roll on in Seminole Sports Magazine presented by AT&T, it's time to take a look at the highlight of the week presented by AT&T.
First and goal at the 5-yard line. Now to the guy set, Dunn and Crockett. Play a handoff to Crockett to the 2-1. Touchdown, Florida State. Well, is it too little, too late?
As it turns out, it wasn't too little, too late. Almost 18 years ago, one of the greatest fourth-quarter comebacks in college football history took place in Doak Campbell Stadium against the arch-rival Florida Gators. Zach Crockett scored the first Seminole touchdown at the start of the fourth quarter, leaving the Seminoles down 31-10. FSU quarterback Danny Kanell then went on to orchestrate several unbelievable drives to bring the Seminoles back to a 31-31 tie, which certainly felt like a comeback win for the Seminoles. Here is more about that historic game and Seminole legend Danny Kanell, who was recently inducted into the FSU Hall of Fame.
There are dates in Florida State history that stand out in every experienced fan's mind. So much so that you remember exactly where you were or how you felt when it happened. The first football win for FSU over Florida, the first time you saw the Pondrewski, the win over Nebraska for the 1993 national title, and the game later tabbed the choke at Doak. It's probably safe to say that veteran FSU fans remember that game so clearly when a calm, cool, and determined Danny Kanell led a historic comeback that left Seminole fans wildly celebrating a tie and further cemented the Florida State legend to college football followers nationwide.
With Crockett and Preston, the running backs. Blitz threat. Here's the snap. Handoff to Preston.
Danny Kanell grew up in Fort Lauderdale and attended Westminster Academy. He didn't play football until his junior year of high school, but once he did, he quickly showed he was one of the best. He was named both a Parade and USA Today All-American as a senior in 1991 and was the Broward County Athlete of the Year. Kanell was also one of the top prep baseball players in the country, but chose to come to Florida State rather than sign an offer by the Milwaukee Brewers, who had selected him in the 19th round. As was the norm for most of Coach Bowden's career at FSU, Kanell would redshirt and spend his first seasons on the bench, waiting for a chance to lead the Seminoles. But his apprenticeship was unique in that he learned under one of the greatest players in college football history, Charlie Ward. Kanell did step in to start one game as a sophomore in 1993 in place of an injured Ward, and with the weight of a potential national championship season on his shoulders.
He wants to throw. He airs it out toward the far sideline, toward the end zone underneath it. It's caught. Knox, touchdown.
Kanell responded by completing 28 of 38 passes for 341 yards and 5 touchdowns in a win over Maryland that assured coaches and fans that FSU had a chance not to fall off the map post-Charlie. Kanell did have a great deal to do with FSU's first national title, despite not being the starting quarterback. It was he who had the thankless task of holding for field goal kicker Scott Bentley. So it was a young Kanell who caught the snap, spun the ball, and didn't botch the effort on Bentley's national championship winning field goal. Stepping out of Ward's shadow as a junior in 1994, Kanell led the Seminoles to a 10-1-1 season, including that mind-boggling 28-point fourth-quarter comeback that left Steve Spurrier visorless as well as victoryless in Tallahassee throughout his career. Just over a month later, Kanell led Florida State to a 23-17 win over that same Florida team, now ranked 5th nationally in the Sugar Bowl, elevating the Seminoles to number 4 in the country in the final polls.
It is fourth quarter deja vu. Danny Kanell working it.
Kanell was one of the nation's top players as a senior in 1995 and led the Seminoles to a 10-2 finish and a repeat of the number 4 final ranking in the Associated Press Bowl. He led FSU to a dramatic 31-26 win over Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl to finish his career with yet another win. He was named a second-team All-American and remains among the top 10 in both season and career records in 8 different categories. Kanell credits Coach Bowden for his reason to attend FSU. He calls Bowden a mentor, father figure, and friend, and insists he will go down as the best coach ever in college football. He also credits Coach Mark Richt and team chaplain Clint Purvis as having played important roles in helping him with the roller coaster life of being a Seminole quarterback. In 1996, the Fort Lauderdale native was drafted in the 4th round by the New York Giants. He spent 7 years playing in New York, then for the Falcons and the Broncos. During a layoff from football in 2001, Kanell returned to baseball, playing for the Newark Bears before retiring from professional sports. He met his wife Courtney in 2002 and also found a new vocation in broadcasting. Danny is entering his 4th year working for ESPN, covering college football and baseball for the worldwide leader in sports. Danny has been active in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes since his days at FSU. He also works with Young Life, the Heart Gallery, which places foster children, and Rocketown, Florida, a youth outreach program in Pompano Beach. He is grateful to his parents for the strong foundation they helped him create and the many opportunities that he was given to be the success he is today. He and Courtney have 3 beautiful daughters, 5-year-old Cameron, 3-year-old Dylan, and new baby girl, 3-month-old Caitlin.
That's all the time we have this week. We'll see you next week on Seminole Sports Magazine, presented by AT&T.